So, something that I wanted to talk about today was young stars are getting the bag, and I really like this for the league. These young guys are getting paid, and we've seen this throughout the entire offseason. And I want to talk about it because it makes me happy that we're ushering in the new stars of the league and the new faces of the league so well. And I'm gonna run down each one, what it means for the team, and how does this affect the NBA. So first, I want to talk about Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is a player that recently has been lighting up, and he's been very good recently and through his entire career. He was the number one pick in the same draft as Lamelo Ball, and this season we get to see all those players, right, get money. So we get to see that one draft class, and that draft class has blessed us with a lot of talent, right? We have to start with Anthony Edwards because, in my opinion, he's the player who has the most ceiling in him. He's been talked about for ages now, with people saying that he's a star, that he's phenomenal, and really people betting on his game. And now the Minnesota Timberwolves have made that official by giving him a 5-year, $260 million extension, right? Which starts, I'm pretty sure it starts in the 2025 season, which means that the Timberwolves have him for basically 6 years, right? And that's phenomenal. His contract is well deserved. He's a phenomenal player who deserves the money. But now it's time for him to be better. Something that I've always had a gripe with Anthony Edwards is that he's obviously a slow riser. He gets much better in the playoffs, but he's always been one of these guys that in the regular season it just doesn't seem like he's as good as he should be. He made his first All-Star team last year, and he averaged 24 points, 4 assists, and 6 rebounds. Meanwhile, shooting 45% from the field and 37% from three. And I know that that's great, but it's like this guy. People are saying that he's like the reincarnation of Jordan, and that he's a superstar and whatever. And as much as I know that he is clutch, and that he's been phenomenal, and that he's only 21 years old, I do believe a lot of that and how he plays in the regular season has to do with his diet, you know? And what I'm talking about is, if you guys didn't see the video, he says that he'll eat like a bag of chips, which was a specific bag of chips. He'll eat like 6 of them in a day. And I don't know how good that is, but for a professional basketball player, it seems like he's just pretty, loose with what he does and how he treats his body. I feel like if he would get on a strict diet, or at least a diet that allows him to enjoy himself, meanwhile keeping him with his right nutrition, like a LeBron type diet, where LeBron, you'll see him eating like wine and pancakes and stuff like that, but in the end you could see that he's actually getting his stuff in. I do believe that would make it better for him, because he's a guy which, if you guys don't know, as much as body and skill have to do, nutrition and how you put your body through in the NBA matters just as much. And I do believe that that's the biggest drawback for Anthony Edwards. He is a star, and Minnesota's gonna love him as long as he keeps doing what he's doing. But I do hope that he gets better, and that maybe next year he can average like 25 to 30 points. So that, he could really be that guy, and as everyone wants him to be. Right? Second, we have Lamelo Ball. Lamelo Ball got also a $260 million 5-year contract. And in my opinion, that's another contract that's awesome. Of course, I like all these contracts. I do believe that these young guys deserve to get paid, as they're all the faces of their franchise and the people who are being looked at as the faces of their franchise. And with Lamelo, I like it because he's just been terrific. Of course, there are some problems, just like Anthony Edwards, but I'll talk about those right now. I do believe that, LaMelo's been phenomenal. He could really play make, he could score, and apart from, just being more effective inside the 3 point line and maybe, taking better decisions sometimes, I do believe that LaMelo is a phenomenal player. He played only 36 games this season, but he's shown that he's Showtime, right? They brought Miles Bridges back, and they have a bunch of the guys who they love there. And LaMelo's gonna do great for Charlotte. Charlotte needs him more than he needs Charlotte. LaMelo's one of these guys where his play style will succeed anywhere just because of how flashy and phenomenal it is. But I do believe that LaMelo staying in Charlotte is a good thing. They've built a team, and now they've drafted Brandon Miller to be his co-star. And I do believe that that type of commitment to him is good, especially as he's rehabbing through injury, where the team is showing him, like, yo, LaMelo, you might be going through stuff, but we're here and we're ready to receive you, like, no matter what. And I do believe that showing that to a player is really important, because if you don't show it to them, they could end up like Ben Simmons. Another thing that I want to say, well, another contract that I want to go through is Tyrese Halliburton. He just signed the same 5 year, $260 million. And in my opinion, this is phenomenal. This is the best contract yet. Tyreese is only a one-time All-Star, but all of these guys are. And I feel like Tyreese is just the player that you need as your star, right? Like, he's extremely loyal, right, when it comes to just being there and wanting to be at a place. Like, you can tell the guy doesn't want to move from Indiana, just like he didn't want to move from Sacramento. And Tyrese Halliburton is really a phenomenal player. He's 22 years old. He's played phenomenal throughout his entire career, right? And these 2 years that he's been in Indiana, he's shown now that he could really play basketball at a high level, and that he could be a star point guard, as he's taken Indiana, which was a franchise that looked like they had nowhere to go and nothing, to show for what they had done. And now they got Tyrese Halliburton, which is just taking them and made Miles Turner look like an all-star, right? Made their spirit be so lifted, and also have guys like Andrew Nemhart and stuff like that, actually looking like good players. Wait. But I do believe that in the end, I do think that what Tyreese has done for Indiana is phenomenal. And by the way, that's no slight to Andrew Nemhart. I'm just saying, like, he's a rookie and he came in and he was given opportunities and open looks, and he ended up having a phenomenal rookie season, averaging like 9 points and also like hitting like many game-winning threes. Meanwhile, shooting good percentages for a rookie. So if I really want to talk about these contracts, I think Tyrese has to be the best one. And finally, before I end this video, I want to talk also about Desmond Bane. He just got re-signed, and he got re-signed for $207 million. Even though he's 25 years old and older, I do believe that you signed him for most of his prime, and you signed him for some good years of his career. Also, that he fits perfectly next to Ja, and he's one of the guys who hasn't created problems for the team. Even though he's been getting out of line recently, I do believe that he's one of these guys which just shuts up and plays the game. And even though, it's good to have an emotional guy, you need some guys on your roster always that would just play through everything. Like a Klay Thompson, But like for every star players like Ja Morant, Steph Curry, there needs to be, a silent, collected player who's always does this thing, like a Klay Thompson or Desmond Bain, and then just an initiator, like a Dylan Brooks. Of course, I'm not comparing the dynasties, but one dynasty to the Grizzlies, but I do want to say that I do like that they gave him an extension because the guy always just comes in, does his job, and he gets better in the playoffs. So I do believe that Desmond Bain has earned his extension, even if it's not to the level of the other guys.